Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Eddie Marcus here again. Want to talk to you about your freedom, about your dreams coming true. And I want to come from a political perspective. Those of you who are voting age, or let's say got a chance to vote this year or last year, or maybe you'll just get a chance to vote in 18, maybe 20. But perhaps you've been around long enough to notice something. We have major two-party systems. There are other parties that try to get in on the game, but the American people have been trained to ignore them. We have the Republican Party and the Democratic Party. Now, let's say a couple of years ago, the Democrats had the presidency. And if I ask the question to the nation, how many people are pleased with the presidency of Barack Obama? Almost half of the nation would be dissatisfied. Half of the nation, almost half of the nation would be dissatisfied. This is a major party of the American system. Currently, we have, now many, I didn't go back to George Bush, the Republican president, because I know half of the nation, or over half of the nation, was dissatisfied with that. But we got a chance to switch it around. It's going to be better this time. This time we got the best president the United States has ever had. And everything is going to be easy. We're going to make America great. Now this is, ladies and gentlemen, listen to me, a Republican, not a candidate anymore, but a president. And if I asked you right now, how many of the American people are satisfied with the Republican presidency? Almost half of the nation would be dissatisfied. And that makes me want to ask you, the people who vote, what are you doing? What are you doing? Those of you who went to school and got a little bit of history, you remember what happened in Germany, how the people acted? And you sit up and you say you're much better than they are, and you're doing the same thing. You remember Mussolini and what was happening in Italy, and how the people allowed it to happen, and you say you're smarter than they are. You see what's happening in the Philippines right now? People being killed at the hands of government. And yet, even though it's not happening outright to Americans like that, that doesn't say that it won't be in the future, especially when the offer has begun. And then those of you who sit back and go to church and look at Jesus going on the cross, and you say the Jews did it, or the Romans did it, and how could they do this? You are so much better than they are. The evidence, ladies and gentlemen, as your brother, I'm not rich, and I'm not poor in spirit, but I want to share something with you. We are all alike. All of us all over the globe are all alike. We have all bought into the lie that man and man's ideals are better for man than man's creator's ideals for man. Human beings bought into the lie. And they split them up into all different kinds of systems, capitalist systems, communist systems, you name them. They probably go all across town. Systems of men. Same thing about religion, Methodist, Baptist, Pentecost, all of these things. Ideals of men. Ideals of men. Stop for a minute, ladies and gentlemen. Scratch your forehead. Ask yourself, what are you doing? You are right, and everybody else is wrong. You are right, and everybody else is wrong. And yet, most of all of you are suffering. You adore the rich. You think that the millionaires and billionaires are something outstanding, something you just love to be. That's because you are speaking through the mouth and mind of men. Every rich man, every billionaire is a slap in God's face. Oh, sure, maybe they got their wealth in a fashion that you might call legal, but is it morally right? I heard this morning Bill Gates want to give $100 million out. Some research on Alzheimer's. Think about it, ladies and gentlemen. Supposedly his relatives got dementia or something like that. But don't you know that the knowledge to these various cures have been sent to this earth time and time again? Many of the bringers were aborted. Many of them been held back and not allowed to grow. Why? Because of the ideals of men. Now, in America, in the United States, this last presidential election, you were told that you had two candidates. Neither one was fit according to the report that was coming out to all of the people. Trump was no good. Miss Clinton was no good. And yet they were allowed by you, the American people. Now you say you didn't have any control. Then who in the heck did? Or who did you give that control to that allowed these two people to stay as your representatives, as your choices? And then when you choose one, supposedly because he's less evil than the other one, you have empowered that evil. And you, the American people, who says you gave up on Bush, the Republican. You gave up on Obama, the Democrat. And so you were going to just try anybody. And what did you do? You bought the biggest liar you could get. And yet you just still can't turn him loose because you say the others didn't work. Let's see the end game. And right now, the end game has already been pointed out. They're sucking more from those who can't afford to give it up, the poor. They're sucking it up in their health care. Why? Because the billionaires who are ripping off all of you by a system that's working against you, and yet you approve. Why? Because you do not know the truth. This is the truth, ladies and gentlemen. And you listen to me good. Man had nothing to do with the creation of this earth, and yet this earth is created. And it has the ability to produce everything that you and I know exist, and those things that we are not even aware of. And its ability to do more is outstanding, infinite. This earth, made by someone we can't see, something, a power we can't see, can't touch, can't feel, but the evidence is all here. That's not all. To top that, we exist. And we got the abilities to do everything that's been done. We do. We do it. We don't need money to do it. We don't need a boss to do it. All we need is the opportunity, and it's here, and we've done it. Those things that obstacles have been put forward, we have not done. And for reasons that are not good for we, the American people. But I say to you, your body was a given. You are a spirit. Your body is a given. The oxygen that you receive is a given. The waters that is required of you is a given. There are things that are a given that you must play a part in, and that's called food and clothing and shelter. You must play a part in that. Your choice, do or don't, kind, you. Food, clothing, shelter. Education makes it a lot easier. Healthcare makes it a lot better. And the only way you can get it done is to work. Work for what? For these things that I've just mentioned. And if you got some spare time, have a party. But now, since there's so many of you, rather than you take care of all of these things, you split it up based upon what your desire is, what your love is, what your gift is, and you contribute in the process. Every human being on the face of the earth contribute in the process of creating food, clothing, shelter, education, healthcare, and they do it on a job. That's a God-given. That's an inalienable right. That is how you are supposed to survive. That is how you are supposed to create heaven. With these things met, and the number of people here, and the ability to create machines to do the work that you now do that will open you up to do greater things in the creative process of allowing that spirit that is in you to unfold. This is the life that you are supposed to live. This is the life that has been designed for you, and they call it heaven on earth. And we cannot continue to allow ourselves to be deceived by the liars, buying into the lie, saying that they are better than we. Why do they say that? Because they are smart enough to have more by lying and cheating and stealing and killing, and want to draw us into it as well, to say that's the only way to exist. It is our duty, it is our responsibility, those of us who know the truth. I'm not talking about those of you who are wondering. I'm talking about those of us who know the truth, to stand up and give the truth life, so that it might be seen, and men living in darkness might be able to say, there's a God over there somewhere, because men can't do that. And yet, they will see men doing it. So I say to you, here's the challenge. We've seen it all. I don't care who's president. If you vote for president next year, it doesn't matter if you're a Republican or Democrat. It's not going to do a darn thing for you. It's a game outside of you. You're just here, going along with everything that's been put before you except the truth. The truth is you can stop this junk. You can stop it right now by allowing the spirit of truth to enter into your being. And that makes you free. The truth shall set you free. And once you're free, you respect freedom, not just for yourself, but freedom for all. And you hate a lie. And more than hating a lie, you hate a liar. And so a liar has no home here. How do you defeat a lie? By walking according to the truth. And that is that you treat people as you want to be treated by people or by God. There will be peace. There will be prosperity for all, and there will be joy. But that this next election, I say to you, ladies and gentlemen, we've tried everything else. I say, let's give God a try. Let's give God a try. Now, I recognize you can't put God on the throne. I heard somebody say Jesus was coming back for a church without spot or wrinkle. God says Jesus, you say, through the Bible, is returning when you straighten up your act. Now, will Jesus come as a figure that we have seen before, that somebody has seen before? Or will Jesus be you? Or will Jesus be me? It doesn't matter. As long as Jesus, and when I say Jesus, what am I talking about? I'm talking about truth. I'm talking about love. That's what I'm talking about. Whoever embodies those is Jesus to me. So, we're not trying to punish the Anybody that's done wrong to the American people anywhere in this country, we excuse them because they were ignorant. Those who have robbed us, the billionaires and trillionaires, they robbed the hell out of you poor people. But it was legal. They don't know God. They didn't know God. They thought they did. They were told they know God, but that's a lie. They don't know God. But we're not trying to punish them. We want them to experience the same heaven that we want to experience. That is, that our dreams come true and their dreams come true less. And I do mean less. The ability to control and manipulate through lies and deception. That is over according to the Spirit of truth. Now, what about you? There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Who are you going to represent next time? Republican, Democrat, or you treating people right? Guaranteeing to one another that you are going to respect one another and look after one another and protect one another and make sure that everybody got food, clothing, shelter, education, health care, and a job. Don't be telling me that. Tell your own brain that and work out a plan. If you need some instructions, the Lord is willing. What about you? Bye-bye.